always on time. I'm ahead of the game, I'm first place. I'm in my prime. Hard work that pays off. I pay dues, I'm paid off. Cross me, get crossed off. I'm so fresh, I'm so raw. Go hard like A-Day. It's game time like game day. I ball hard and touch play.
This season, watch the Hungry Jacks NBL take it to the next level.
We'll race anything around here. Even the odd penny farthing.
Melbourne United's title defence got off to a great start on day one of the NBL Blitz with a win over the New Zealand Breakers, and they're back in action on Monday Night Hoops as they take on the Sydney Kings on day three of the 2021 NBL Blitz. Jack Heverin joined in commentary by Pete Hooley. And Pete, you saw Melbourne United firsthand on Saturday in the Blitz, and they looked pretty sharp.
Well, they did, and one name really stood out, and that was Joe Luala-Chul. He was a beast, and they went to him early. They went to him often, 17 first quarter points, but he was unstoppable. We know the Breakers were without Yanni Wetzel, but ultimately whatever he wanted to get, he was getting, and getting with ease. So let's see how they go in this one. The Kings, again, come in severely undermanned. We don't get to see their two-star imports, which we'll chat a little bit about, but they put up a massive fight in that first game. Everybody had an opportunity. Looking forward to seeing this one.
Sydney Kings, certainly with their injury concerns. Melbourne almost at full strength or something very close to full strength. Sydney, no Jalen Adams out with a knee injury, no RJ Hunter with a groin, and Matua Maker out with a knee. So it is the absolute bare essentials for Chase Buford.
Well, it is, and it's really disappointing because we talk about the import trio that will be Jarrell Martin, Jalen Adams, RJ Hunter. These three have a history of playing together in the past, whether it's G League, AAU, all this stuff. They know each other. They've already got a relationship, which is just so rare to be bringing into a new professional team. I can't wait to see them all on the floor together. Jalen Adams is going to be extremely exciting. But Jarrell Martin looked really good. Looking forward to his matchup with Luala-Chul. Melbourne United going with the same starting lineup, Mason Peatling and Garter. Delhi, who looked good. Chris Golding really set the game Melbourne United's way in the last few minutes, as he always does, and the big fella Luala-Chul.
The Kings played on Saturday as well against the Phoenix in their first outing, went down 75-81. It's hard to get a real gauge on them at the moment. Xavier Cooks wins the tip. And the Victorian Sean Bruce playing in his home state throughout the NBL Blitz, a Horsham boy. Kicks it out to Cooks, who's wide open on a wing for three. There's Angus Glover with the rebound. Fantastic to see him back out there. We'll talk more about his story across this game as Sean Bruce knocks it down.
Well, Sean Bruce has a history of loving to play against Melbourne United. He's going to love this challenge against Delhi. You see him getting up and in now. But good start for him, and as you said, Angus Glover played well. Had some really good flashes in that last game. Mason Peatling tries to tee one up on the corner, and Luala-Chul's going to get called for a foul. Just a bit too aggressive. Jarrell Martin hit the body first, and Luala-Chul picks up the foul.
You might have just seen in the background there at the Melbourne United bench, Dean Vickerman at the end of the bench. Assistant coach Justin Schuler coaching this evening.
Does this a lot. Dean Vickerman, especially in pre-season. We saw Simon Mitchell do it as Angus Glover gets upstairs. Good pass from Xavier Cooks, and good to see Glover moving as well as he is.
Garter with a deep two, that's long. Wani Swaka-Labullock in the starting lineup tonight for Sydney. Crossing over from Perth after a couple of titles. Peatling drags in the rebound. Luala-Chul out to Dellavedova for three.
That's good knockdown from Delhi. Didn't hit one in that first game. Took a couple of wide open ones. Good pass. You know the attention that Luala-Chul is going to get down low, especially after that massive first game. As soon as Sean Bruce turned his head, zipped it past his ear, and Delhi stepped right into that one, knocked it in with confidence.
How did you see Delhi's first game on Saturday?
It's exactly what we expect, I think. It's still pre-season. He's just going to try and put his teammates in the best position to be successful. Came up with some big-time steals as Glover comes up a bit long there. And Luala-Chul, oh, nice little friendly shove, but It'll be Melbourne United ball. Got to his spot, has some nice floaters, had a couple of deflections, did what we expect Delhi to do. I think he'll have a bigger impact once the regular season starts. But really, Melbourne United just knew whatever Luala wanted he would get, and they just kept feeding him.
Jarrell Martin's going to have his hands full in that matchup. Agata getting into the paint. Ran into a brick wall in the form of Jarrell Martin and Xavier Cooks.
Well, good defense, good team defense from the Kings. And if you look at the Kings bench when we get back down the other side, we know the injuries they've got, but guys aren't even sitting there right now where they're dealing with something away from it. But you've got Galloway, Vodanovic, Bales and Hodgson, just those 4 guys in the white jersey. Jalen Adams right on the left. Can't wait to see him back as Jarrell Martin comes up a bit long on that one. That's a great take. Great take from Sean Bruce. Read that like a book. Delhi was coming down, looked like he wanted to explore and then set up the play. Sean Bruce jumped right in front, and that's what we call a bit of taste of your own medicine there.
Yeah. We see our man Liam Santamaria just helping himself to a bag of chips and a soft drink. I hope he knows that we're on camera December 3. That'll get back. Bruce. Down low to Martin. Falling away on Luala Chul. Little baby hook. No good.
First game, Jarrell Martin, real quiet in the first half, and same with Xavier Cooks. And I think Chase Buford at halftime just said, play your game. We know we're down, guys, but this is your green light. Do what you do best. And they came out in the second half with a completely different aggressive mindset. What a pass from Xavier Cooks.
Here's Glover in the open court, showing his athleticism.
That was a great pass in transition. Started with some really good defense from Martin. It's going to be over the back on Agata. Chris Golding comes up short with a deep 3.
Caleb Agata, 27 years of age, represented Nigeria at the Tokyo Olympics just recently. And in their win over the USA, which made headlines all around the world, Agata was one of the best players on the floor that night with 17 points.
Well, he was. He can put the ball in the bucket, but he's a really good defender, which is going to help in this lineup when you've got Delhi and you've got guys coming off the bench, Shea Illy, who can really lock up some opposition guards as Agata steps right into that 3-ball.
He looked comfortable with his feet set there too. An early timeout from Chase Buford. Both teams will have a chat about it. 6:28 to play in the opening quarter. If you have just joined us, tune the dial of KO Freebies. However you're watching us, on your TV, on your phone, iPad, whatever it may be. In the first game tonight, in overtime, it was the Illawarra Hawks winning 116 to 112 over the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. So, in a situation like this, Pete, where 3 of their best players aren't playing tonight for Sydney, what does Chase Buford try and get out of tonight, regardless of the result? What is he trying to get out of tonight?
We saw a bit about it in the first game, and you want to still play the style of play that Chase Buford's bringing to the Kings. It's going to be very defensive-minded, but get out and run, play fast. And if you happen to lose, you got to lose the right way. They're trying to build something overall. Jarrell Martin's got to play his game. Xavier Cooks. We know Angus Glover's going to be able to step into a role, but they are missing those key pieces. They're missing major minute guys. Jalen Adams will end up being probably their number 1 guy with Jarrell Martin. RJ Hunt is really exciting after what he's done in his career, but they need to get those guys back as soon as possible, because when you bring in such key aspects later than everyone else on the court, it takes some adjusting, and let's hope they can be as healthy as possible soon.
Jordan Hunter not playing tonight as well. It took such a big step forward, and we shouldn't, of course, forget at some point this season we will see DJ Vasiljevic again, missing with an Achilles injury. It's Glover from the corner.
Well, that's his spot. Knocked a couple down in that first game from there. He's off to a really good start, and every basketball fan is just happy to see him back out on the floor. Had a rotten run with injuries. Doesn't deserve any of them. Let's hope he can have a big NBL 22.
Luala Chul scoreless at this stage. He's got a chance to change that.
bailed out a little bit there. While Jarrell Martin just a little bit slow in moving his feet at the end. They've got to be careful with the fouls with only 4 players on the bench.
That's the last thing Sydney need tonight. Someone fouling out. $37-11 on Saturday for Joe Luala-Chul, the NBL, the reigning NBL 6th man of the year. Martin's pass intercepted.
And no Ariel Porte for Melbourne United. Another one that's, I think, going to have a big opportunity in the front court for the defending champions. Really looking forward to seeing what he can bring. Extremely athletic and a good touch. As Jarrell Martin just tries to go through Luala-Chul. Finishes his own mess. Thinks he might have got a foul, but I reckon he might have as well.
He's an interesting one, Jarrell Martin. Last season, missed 11 games through injury. And I think, Pete, it's fair to say for the second half of the season, was clearly hampered by injury and had to carry a lot of the load. Fit, healthy, new team in many ways as well. I'm really excited to see what Jarrell Martin can do this year.
Yeah, it's been tough for him, I think, a lot over his career. When he was drafted by the Grizz, actually had an ankle injury which slowed down his debut in the NBA, and finally got healthy and then did it again. Had to sit out, and you saw that his debut with the Kings came in, and we thought he was set for big things. For all first-team discussions, then had injuries, and then really struggled just to get that consistent performance out of him. But if he can stay healthy, he's looking good and he's feeling good, and he's going to really relish playing with those other 2 imports as Delhi comes way off on that one. But he's going to have a big season, you'd think.
The evergreen Dave Barlow into the game at 38 years of age. Tom Vodanovic as well for Sydney, played a good role in their first game. Glover, baseline to Hodgson. There's Bales at the top of the key with his first look, Bawali Bales.
That's going to be a foul on Dave Barlow. Vodanovic really crashing the glass hard, and Bales is going to really love the system Chase Buford wants. Really athletic, he's going to be a really annoying defender, get out in transition. Just fits in nicely when they do have these injuries, do have foul trouble, to be able to throw someone out there who the system's going to really work well for.
Shea Illy dropped the rebound in the end. It slipped through his fingertips, and Sydney will get another opportunity. It's Martin. Steps through and scores.
Oh, that was too easy. And Callum Dalton, new signing for Melbourne United, had a couple of fouls early in his first game, and he's got to stay out of foul trouble and just be really solid defensively.
For Illy from just inside the line. It's well short. Coming up to 4 minutes to play before quarter time. Glover drawing contact from Dellavedova and Barlow. So just the 2 games last season for Angus Glover. Due to a knee reconstruction, that was his 3rd. I read a great article a couple of days ago where he said that most people generally talk about coming back from a knee reconstruction and saying that players lose their athleticism. He actually feels as though he spent that much time in the gym over the last 5 years that he's actually, if anything, he may have gained some extra strength and some power, and thinks that he might even be more athletic.
I mean, he's the epitome of perseverance, isn't it? And it's just incredible to see how well he comes back, and just his mindset, his positivity, and you can see it right now. He's just playing with no fear, and it's something you'd love to see, and you hope he's in for an injury-free NBL 22 where he can just really lock in and cement himself as part of the league and an exciting future prospect.
Foul will be on Jaden Hodgson of the Sydney Kings. There's Brad Newley.
Well, speaking of looking good, Brad Newley coming in.
That
looking
man looks
in
extraordinary.
fantastic shape, and someone that Dean Vickerman can just rely on. He's big on being able to trust guys in certain situations. He knows you've got the veteran of Brad Newley, who especially knows how to play with Matthew Dellavedova and Chris Goulding, to throw him out there. And when he comes in looking in that kind of nick, good block from Xavier Cooks, and it's going to be off Brad Newley.
Playing against his former team. We saw him do an absolute demolition job on a Greek restaurant a couple of weeks ago, Brad Newley. Ate a lot of beautiful Greek food, but he's in great condition. He and Dave Barlow, you just can't be playing professional basketball at this level at 37, 38 and not look after yourself.
No, exactly right. And that's why they're out there and still playing at the high level. Just true professionals in every sense of the word. As Shaylee tries to no look, but you've got to make sure at least your recipient is looking. And Hodgson down the other end comes up short. Bit scrappy here from the last 2 minutes from both teams.
Newley head down to the basket. Galloway having none of it.
Well, in that first game, Brad Newley got away with his usual transition and the way he attacks and on the scout, because I don't think the New Zealand Breakers next stars were quite aware of what's made him so great over the years. His old teammates are definitely aware of it. They're going to come up with a block and get a stop there. They know exactly how to try and slow down the Olympian.
Timeout. Still midway through this first quarter. Sydney Kings will play again on Thursday against the New Zealand Breakers, and then one more game in their pre-season campaign. They'll head to the Wynn Entertainment Centre to take on the Illawarra Hawks on Saturday, November 27.
And it's a whole new setup, isn't it, for the Kings? And as I said, it is exciting. The players on the floor. Chase Buford, what he brings, the style of play is going to be fun to watch. Daniel Kickett now into that coaching lineup, as you see there, and Fleur McIntyre, really highly regarded. Great person on and off the floor. The Kings were lucky enough to get her on board, and just going to be a really tough team to beat once they all get healthy. Just got to get it as soon as possible. And Ad Vasiljevic, he is ready to go, and can't wait to see what he comes back and brings, because for a long period last year, we remember that Rookie of the Year trophy looked his. Spot on. For a long time before Josh Giddey got it, and it also looked like it was Jack White's for a lot, who we'll see at some point this year, and looking really good from his rehab as well.
So without making excuses for Sydney, obviously, nice take from Dalton. Do we expect them to start slow because of the disruptions they've had in the preseason? Yes,
to a degree, but I think what kind of might help them is Vodanovic tees one up from the corner. Good hit there, good pass from Bales. They're super young. And you're not going to really know when you first look at it, but Sean Bruce is the oldest player on the Kings roster at 30 years old. They're young, and they've got guys who have played together. Good take from Brewster right there. Good backdoor cut. These guys having already played together is going to help that time be a lot shorter, a lot easier to transition, and they already like playing with the likes of Sean Bruce. Jordan Hunter's out for a little while with an injury. They've got to figure that out. It's Bales. Nice step back three ball there. But having guys that already have a past relationship with the coach as well is only going to be easier to all gel.
Yeah, that's so unique, isn't it? The fact that Chase Buford has worked with a number of these guys already. That's a hook.
Well, good defense. Xavier Cooks just moving his feet. Brewster looked a bit out of control and gets called for the hooking foul. And you're exactly right. You don't often see it. They're going to be, if not the best import trio, they'll be one of the best import trios in the league. Haven't seen the Perth Wildcats yet. It's going to be always hard to beat an import trio with Bryce Cotton in it.
Add Vic Law.
Add Michael Fraser as well.
Add Fraser.
It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, they look the goods. The late signing of Matt Hodgson just certainly helps their cause as well. Jalen Galloway showing some athleticism. Dumps it out for Cooks. Off the front of the iron.
And that's probably the one part of Xavier Cooks' game he knows he's got to get more consistent as that outside shot, just to change the way he plays and make him a real dual threat. He can slash, he can do this, get it off the rim and attack down the other end. Oh, I got away with something there, Dave Barlow, but he's got to really be able to knock down that outside shot, make teams have to come out and respect him.
Peatling had good position under the basket. Galloway did well to not give away the foul, but Newley did even better to get it back for Melbourne and score from it.
Well, with the right hand up over the right shoulder, Brad Newley having his presence felt. Good to see him crashing the glass as well. It's been a slow start from United. Kings have looked really solid.
24-13. Final minute of the quarter. Vodanovic has already hit one. That time off target. Hodgson gives the Kings another opportunity. Shot clock at 5. Bales goes with the left hand. Minor contact from Mason Peatling, but it's enough to send him to the line.
Again, giving up an offensive rebound, and we know Dean Vickerman not coaching this one. Assistant coach Justin Schuler is, but give up a couple of possessions like the last minute or two. Saw it often last year, Melbourne United. They call a timeout. Dean Vickerman marches them out to the free throw line. Standing up timeout. Can't have the camera or audio in there. It's never pleasant to be in.
We saw a couple of those last year. Shea Ely bringing the ball up the floor for Melbourne. Found room and scores.
Strong take from Shea Ely. About 6 seconds or so left on this quarter time.
Bruce to Bales. He's got space. It's the Kings who lead by double digits at quarter time, 25-15. They're undermanned and they don't have access to some of their best players, but that's not stopping them.
Well, they came to play, didn't they? They got 6 offensive rebounds for a team of Melbourne United that pride themselves on the defensive end and cleaning up the glass. That's just way too many. Justin Schuler won't be happy with that as he discusses this with the team. And ultimately, everybody got what they want. Angus Glover was outstanding. He had 9 points, had a dunk, hit a 3-ball. Xavier Cooks had 2. Jarrell Martin missed a couple of he'd like back. And Wiley Bales was really good off the bench as well. And for Melbourne United, I've got to say, Kings did well scout-wise. Joe Luala-Chill, they know he comes off 37 points. They made sure every touch of the ball he saw multiple people in front of him. Agata knocked down a 3-ball. Delhi knocked down a 3. Only 1 shot for Golding. And again, it's going to be not giving away too much, especially against an undermanned Kings. Alfie, you don't want to give away too much because they can't give away too much without those key players.
They haven't got much to give away
well,
at the moment,
exactly
have they?
right.
Yeah.
So as much as you're looking at those things, you're thinking about what happens in the first couple of weeks of the season when we play this team. I don't want to give away too many things. And when you're missing some key guys, you've just got to try and match their intensity right now. And I'm sure Justin Schuler's saying at quarter time that Melbourne United didn't do that. Leading
scorers for both teams. Well, there's not a great deal to talk about from a Melbourne point of view. 3 apiece to Agata and Dellavedova. 9 points for Angus Glover. Leads all comers for the Sydney Kings. And Xavier Cooks, a couple of points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Playing with plenty of spirit, the Kings.
Oh, they are, and that's the style of play that Chase Buford wants. He'll be really wrapped with that first period, and no excuses. It's going to be. This is the identity we want to play with this season. We want to play exciting. We want to lock in on our defensive assignments, get up and down the floor, play fast. He's still got enough players to be able to do that. The right type of players to play fast, and they did that with 25 points. And I've just been sent a nice little picture from our man Liam Santamaria. It wasn't a chips and Coke. It was a vitamin water and popcorn.
That's more like it.
So,
I never doubted him.
Yeah.
Never doubted him. It's Cooks off the hot pass from Bruce. Lost the handle after all of that. And Agata's pass. Thought Triplett may have got a fingertip on that on the way out, but not the case. In fact, he did.
It was the first little period here for Triplett. We didn't see him in the first game, and Dean Dickerman's one that likes to give a lot of players an opportunity in the preseason.
He's had the 1 year of college in America, back now to start his professional career. Illy for three. No good. Xavier Cooks rebounds and gets the Kings in motion. Ball moving around. Eventually they settle with Angus Glover.
Well, that's the way they want to play. Get that rebound from Cooks, hits Bruce, and they were off to the races. Extra pass, even contested. They want to get some shots up and do it quick.
He now has 12 and is the leading scorer in the game. Agata, tough too.
Well, it is. We don't often see that mid-range, especially contested. Yeah, knocks that down. Another pretty disjointed offensive set.
Cooks has space, and you mentioned that's something he's been working on, Pete. That looked good out of the hand.
Well, third time lucky. All of them been wide open, and glad to see he didn't hesitate. He missed two, but just stepped right into it, and that's going to be a flop warning. Looks like he read that pretty well, Swakala Bullock, and here's Melbourne United giving the Kings a taste of their own medicine on the glass.
Dalton finds Peatling. Sean Bruce got a piece of the hand, and the arm, I should say.
As I said, Swakala Bullock, looked like he read that pretty well, but you don't get the call. Everyone's got to get up and help each other, keep rotating to find that open man. Melbourne United knew that, kept the ball moving. And yeah, Peatling's gone to line for two.
"39 games last season for Mason Peatling, finished top 5 for Melbourne United in rebounds, blocks and steals. It was a meteoric rise. Glover's the danger man on the floor for Sydney. Finds himself open again. Looks good.
Well, what a start from Angus Glover. Look at the ball movement from the Kings. The way that they attacked, threw it back out and straight into Jarrell Martin on the mismatch with Triplet, and he did not hesitate to find Angus Glover to knock down another three ball.
He's going
Why not?
again. Not that far away either. He's got the license. Here's Agata trying to create something himself. Outpointed by Xavier Cooks, and once more Sydney hit the ground running. Cooks lost the handle that time. Numbers against Triplet. He's happy to take his chances.
Well, he stayed with it. Young fella out in transition. It was about a 1-on-4. Came up short in the first one, but went straight back up and going to get the foul call, go to the free throw line for two. If you're Sydney Kings, you've got to love that the way they're playing. That's the speed they're going to play at. They're going to match it with a lot. And again, sound like a broken record, but with the key pieces out, you add that to a style of play like this, and they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Development player this season. Zach Triplet, the 20-year-old, a Melbourne local. Martin, coast to coast. Offensive foul, buckets waved away.
Well, it was a bit late on the rotation. You hear Mason Peatling yelling help, and I thought Callum Dalton might have been just a couple milliseconds slow. The referee underneath the basket let it go, but sideline one said that it was a charge and it'll be a turnover down the other way, but there you go. That's how quick the Kings are looking to play.
Callum Dalton can't rattle that home. Swakala Bullock Driving into the lane, blocked by Agata. Nice hands, and here's Melbourne in transition at the other end.
Well, that's what Melbourne United are getting back to. They pride themselves on being one of the best defensive teams in the league, so the first 13 minutes of this game won't be too pleasing, but that last minute is a lot better, helping each other out, getting deflections. Caleb Agata's a really good defender. You add him alongside Delhi and Shea Illy, well, if you've got to line up opposition who's some 3 elite guards, you throw those 3 out there, it's going to be a really tough night.
It's been a big off-season of change. If you look at the ins and outs for Melbourne, for both teams in particular, but for Melbourne here, Matt Dellavedova, Brad Newley, Ariel Hukporti coming in, Caleb Agata, Callum Dalton, David Okwera, Dion Prewster, Zach Triplett, Will Hickey. Out goes Mitch McCarron, David Anderson retires, Udai Bubba, Scotty Hobson, Sam McDaniel, and Jock Landau. That's a lot of key pieces that they need to replace from last season. On paper, it looks pretty good, but do you expect it might take a bit of time?
Well, I think it will. I think they're going to have to change kind of the way they've played in the past. And you look at the biggest loss on paper is Jock Landau, obviously, for what he did, and he was outstanding in the league. But trying to replace Mitch McCarron was always going to be the big question mark. How do you do that? He's one of Australia's best point guards right now after fully transitioning to that role. Obviously, getting Matthew Dellavedova's signature was the perfect thing to be able to try and replace what Mitch McCarron brings. Obviously, he knows how to play with a guy like Chris Golding, the Brad Newleys. But I think what we're going to see, and weird enough to say, is probably Chris Golding's best offensive output in the year, because he will officially be one of their main guys with Joe Luala-Chua as they full court pressure, get a steal. We're not going to see it too much in the preseason. They keep their cards close to their chest. Another steal here from Melbourne United.
Justin Schuller will be loving this. Repeat opportunities on the back of defensive pressure. Agata. Not that time. The Kings happy to settle down and change the pace a little here. Bales fall away jump shot. Rolls out. And Agata, Peatling took it at Vodanovic and was fouled.
Agata's looked good the last few minutes on the defensive end. Plenty of deflections, off and running, making the plays offensively. Good pass, Mason Peatling trying to flush it. I'm not sure, but it's Wally Bales. His shorts might have been made by the Greater Western Sydney Giants. Seem a lot shorter than the rest.
The Greater Western Sydney Giants.
Well, they train near each other, play near each other. I'm wondering whether they just said, look, can you just make mine? I wouldn't mind the footy length.
They're not that short, are they? Oh, yeah, I guess so. But
Well, you're standing next to Delhi.
yeah. Full court pressure again from Melbourne. It's been working for them since the timeout. And the Kings throw it away.
Well, giving the Kings a taste of their own medicine. This is the way they're going to have to play. Get up and in defensively. And you said they can do that now with these new additions, with Delhi, with Caleb Agata, bring guys off, kind of play that kind of ice hockey style. When guys get tired, throw another group in there and keep that intensity up.
Golding got rid of his defender. Had a good look. Offensive rebound for Caleb Agata. Shot clock down to 7. He goes to work on Swaka LeBullock. And Peatling tips it back for Golding from well beyond the arc.
Does not matter off an offensive rebound. If the ball lands in that man's hand, it is going up from anywhere on the floor.
Melbourne seem as though they've got back to basics, Pete, in the last few minutes, and it's working for
Well,
them.
I think they've just started to match the Kings' intensity. The Kings were giving it to them on the defensive end, coming up with stops, and then just getting out and running and pushing the tempo. And I think Justin Schuller called that timeout, saying, firstly, we've got to lift our defensive effort, but let's get back to running. Let's explore all the options. Full court press when we can. They got a few stops there and really starting to slow the Kings down, and that's not the way the Kings want to play.
Bales, Vodanovic, Martin, Galloway and Hodgson out on the floor for Sydney. They give it up again. Peatling running the floor. And one coming up.
Well, another turnover, and they're off to the races. And Caleb Legata, really good heads-up play. And it looked like Bales maybe tried to slow it down with a little foul. Refs let it continue. And one opportunity. And this is the Melbourne United we've come to expect.
Golding again from well outside. Dellavedova tips it back to the advantage of Luala Chul. Golding being creative. That's just about as tough as you'll get. Jarrell Martin.
Well, it's a strong take from Jarrell Martin. And you can see that this game so far, Melbourne United playing a lot around the perimeter, whereas that last game when they had the advantage inside, just kept feeding the big fella, Luala Chul. He's only had the one field goal attempt, 1 point. Just picked up his second foul there. And Jarrell Martin, when he does catch it, is not letting him breathe. And that's going to be the next challenge for Luala Chul, who last season was outstanding in his role, but he played with that role of coming off the bench and being able to play against, a lot of the time, a backup big on the other team and would dominate. Had the green light, still has the green light, but how does he do it now over 30 to 33 minutes a game? That's what Dean Vickerman wants. You're the starting big man, no Jock Landale. You're going to have to produce this over the course of a game and consistently for an entire season. Is his tank there yet? No. Will it get there? You would like to think so, but that's what he's got to try and figure out. And if teams do try and take him away with the way we saw after the first game, how do you still have that positive impact on the game to make sure that you play your 33 minutes and you leave there having a big positive impact on the game?
It's a stark contrast from Saturday's game for Luala Chul. It's the one free throw made. He set the first half alight against New Zealand. Now he gets an opportunity. Backs in on Vodanovic.
Well, that's just great recognition. As soon as you see Jarrell Martin go to the sideline to sit down, run a play for the big fella, get him involved, go straight to him against Vodanovic. And I know Vodanovic is a big body, but you've got to trust Luala Chul to get to his spot. And once he gets to that middle of the key, he's going to rise up over everybody. And you're either going to have to foul him or he's going to make it.
Makes both. Newley, Luala Chul, Dellavedova, Barlow and Golding out there at the moment for Melbourne. Hodgson managed to get it away to Bales. Shot clock at 3. Vodanovic in the corner. Yes.
Well, look, it wasn't pretty, very disjointed, but ultimately it worked because you had guys moving, everyone was relocating, multiple people attacking the hoop, getting the defense to move. Vodanovic comes up with a heavy contested 3-ball in the corner.
Not sure that's how Chase Buford drew it up, but it worked.
And there's Delhi. Keeping the possession alive, foul on Bales. Delhi's going to be doing that. You send guys back in transition. You know that if it's Delhi's around there, he's going to at least attempt to get that offensive rebound, get a hand on it.
Dean Vickerman, you can see there watching from the end of the bench. Justin Schuler, the lead assistant coaching Melbourne tonight. The trap almost worked. There's Matthew Dellavedova.
You can see, as we said, Justin Schuller being the head coach tonight with Dean Mack and Reece Carter sitting next to him. You wonder if Dean Vickerman just rolled the ball out. It's a bit of the king of the hills. Who wants to be the head coach tonight? I've got a feeling Dean Mack probably is going to take that one. Reece's Skyhook would give it a crack.
Yeah. There's not many better than D-Mac to have played in this league. Bruce late in the clock. Gave a push off.
Oh, it's called an offensive foul and going the other way from Melbourne United. Another turnover for the Kings. That's been their issue this quarter. They've ramped up the intensity. There's 3 fouls on Sean Bruce.
The lead was 10 for Sydney at quarter time, but since then, Melbourne have been able to cut it back. Lawalachul, baseline on Cooks.
Well, that's what he does, isn't it? The ability to face up with the ball on the floor, what's making him a really tough cover. Does the individual workouts down at practice, and that's going to be another turnover for the Kings. And that's what I love about Lawalachul's game. And you've got the big individual workouts in the guards, and you want to go down there to work on your handle. Came back from that little stint over in the States in the off-season, and more reports, he sees himself as cementing a position there, and he's expecting a big year here to be able to do so.
Xavier Cooks, and his numbers from the opening half. Another one who I just hope we see the best of, and he's allowed to show his best through injury. Offensive rebound, Melbourne. Sydney lift the tempo. Galloway. Bawali Bales is guarded by Lawalachul. Managed to get his shot away. And Cooks. And the offensive rebound gave a nudge.
Looked like he got unlucky there. I'll send Brad Newley to the line for 2. Bonus, but Xavier Cooks, that's one man who's picked up his energy. He's all over the glass right now trying to make things happen. Oh, got a little unlucky.
Played with the Sydney Kings since 2016, Brad Newley. Still plenty of life left in him, as he's showing tonight and as he showed in the first game. Extended pressure, and Dellavedova picks up another foul. That'll be his 4th.
Might only be his 3rd. We might have got that wrong because he's still out there unless they're just rolling the dice. There it is. 4 fouls in the first half for Delhi.
Galloway catch and shoot. Lawalachul walks it up the floor, but looks like he wants to get busy. Had to defer to Barlow. And Golding pulling up. Rebound Galloway. And Swakala Bullock.
And there's that quick pushing the tempo. Extra pass, get that open shot in the corner. And just, you can see them trying to feed Joe Lawalachul. The Kings all know that. They are locking that up.
This time, Swakala Bullock. Still no good. It's end-to-end stuff here at MSAC.
Well, it's been a better second quarter, that's for sure, from Melbourne United. Picked up that intensity on the defensive end, got out to run, and really started to slow down the Kings.
"20 seconds left. Clock winds down now to 10. Ball in the hands of Dellavedova. Kicks it to Golding. And at half-time, the Sydney Kings will take a slender lead in, but Melbourne win the quarter and win a point, and they started to get their game going a little more.
Yeah, they did. And as we said multiple times, it was just picking up the energy, the intensity on the defensive end. The Kings came out and kind of gave them a smack. And I know it's preseason, but that's something that Justin Schuller would have said at quarter time, and when he called that timeout in the second quarter, is we can't get off to these slow starts, especially with a team that only has 9 players suiting up, missing key guys. Every single player that plays right now for the Kings has a green light. They get to go out there, play free, play Kings style of basketball that Chase Buford wants, and they did that. So I think Justin Schuller was right to call the timeout, settle everybody down, say, well, we've got to match it or be better than them. And I think that's what they did in that second quarter.
Outscored them 22-14. We're seeing some of the highlights from the first half. If you're a Sydney fan, you'd be absolutely delighted with what you saw from Angus Glover. 15 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds as well. He was managed towards the back end of that second quarter, but was outstanding. A real offensive weapon out there for Sydney. And for Melbourne, all single-figure scorers at this stage. Mason Peatling, their leading scorer, with 6. Lualachul, Agata, and Dellavedova with 5 apiece. It's halftime at the Melbourne Sports Aquatic Centre. Sydney leading 39-37. Tomorrow night, we're back in action for more NBL Blitz. Perth and Adelaide do battle first, and then Cairns and Tasmania in the beautiful state of Tasmania.
We'll race anything around here. Even the odd penny farthing.
Great to have your company on KO Freebies. It's halftime in our second game of Monday night basketball at the Melbourne Sports Aquatic Centre. And the Sydney Kings leading the way over Melbourne United, 39-37. Melbourne winning their first game on Saturday. Sydney losing their first game. But Pete, the Kings, with so many injuries and not having their best players available, have certainly played with a lot of spirit and a lot of fight.
Well, they have, and that's what we said that they had to do after the first game, seeing it without those guys as well, was still build on what you're trying to bring for the rest of the year. Play the style of basketball that Chase Buford wants, and you bring in a new coach, bring in some new big pieces. It's going to be that change of the guard, and how do you guys adapt to that? This is the perfect example. You're missing those key pieces still. Got to play the right way so that it's as seamless as possible when these guys do get in, do get healthy. And as we see now coming out for the halftime, Justin Schuller going with a younger lineup. Delhi's obviously got the 4 fouls. Chris Golding's not going to be starting this one, and some of the young fellas are going to get some action in the second half.
Justin Schuller, as Pete said, coaching tonight. Dean Vickerman happy to hand over the reins for one of the pre-season games. Earlier tonight, in overtime, it was Illawarra defeating South East Melbourne 116-112 in a high-scoring contest.
Swakala Bullock's had his chance. They've left him open a few times, and good ball movement, good backdoor there. Hickey now onto the floor with Newley, Aquera, Shea Illy, and Big Joe Luala-Chul.
There's Glover running out of room and running out of ideas. He's not too happy with the call. It's a very different Melbourne lineup we're seeing here. Not sure we'll see a lot of this group play together across the season.
No, exactly. And obviously it was always going to be Delhi at least starting on the bench with those 4 fouls. And as Aquera steps into a 3-ball and is long off the mark. Justin Schuller probably under the instruction just to give some of those young guys a bit of a go. Chris Golding only played the 11 minutes. Delhi had those fouls. Peatling not out there. And Jerome Martin just coming up ginger off that take, whether he stepped on someone's ankle or just came down the wrong way.
That's the last thing Sydney would want on the eve of the season, is having one of their key pieces injured. If you have just joined us, no Jalen Adams tonight with a knee injury. RJ Hunter missing with a groin. Matua Maker with a knee, and Jordan Hunter likewise.
Well, the big worry out of all those is probably Jordan Hunter with something with his thumb or his hand, and I haven't heard exactly to the extent of how long he'll be out for. We know how exciting it was last year, but Jalen Adams is a bit of knee soreness. There's no risking him after some preseason work, but RJ Hunter did his groin in the warm-ups of the first game because he was in his uniform and his warm-up ready to play. Didn't hit the court. It came out that he just didn't feel right in that groin. Obviously, again, no point in trying to test him out because he's going to be an important part of this Kings unit.
Aquera flying high, couldn't track down the rebound. A really exciting young prospect to watch throughout the league this year as Jarrell Martin steps out and knocks down the 3.
Well, that's the way they're going to play. See there, their 4-man Xavier Cooks pushing the tempo, and their 5-man Jarrell Martin spacing to the corner for a quick transition 3. Look at the defense from Angus Glover diving on the floor. That is what you love to see.
Jarrell Martin takes it at all 3 of Melbourne's defenders. They've got that intensity back in their game to start this third quarter.
Well, they do, and that was pretty to watch. Angus Glover all over Shea Illy, caused the turnover, first onto the ground, and off and running, and the big fella, Jarrell Martin, with all the party tricks behind the back, draws the foul and goes to the line for 2.
Sydney will open their season on Sunday, December the 5th against Melbourne United in a home game. And then the following weekend, they'll host Illawarra. Judging from some of the stuff that's been flying back and forward between the Kings and the Hawks in the off-season, that should be interesting when they get together for the first time.
Old freeway series, and just counting down to that first throwdown. Everybody loves the rivalries that are building in the NBL.
couple of home games to start the season for the Kings. Shea Illy fills it up from outside.
Well, that used to be the scout on Shea Illy. Go under those handoff ball screens, make him have to try and test out the 3-ball, but not last year. He was super consistent from out there and shooting it with confidence, and as soon as Sean Bruce went underneath, just stepped back and knocked it in.
There's Cooks cutting baseline. Hickey got a piece of it the first time, but Cooks played through.
I don't know if he got a piece of it. He might have done enough to worry him out of it. Xavier Cooks put it right into the bottom of the backboard, fell straight back into his hands. He ended up getting the easiest of twos after that.
That looked good from David Aquera.
Really nice. Little handoff game with Hickey that they blew up and just stepped into a nice little mid-range.
Development player this year for Melbourne. He'll transition into a full roster spot next year. Chul out for Illy, then Hickey. Nice move, but just couldn't finish it off.
Xavier Cooks has been all over the glass in this one. He's on 9 boards already.
And looking for 3.
He's 1 of 4 from outside, and they've all been very wide open. And that's one thing we said we've got to watch this year. Love to see him stepping in, shooting with confidence. It's outstanding one-on-one defense. Call for the blocking foul, but it's the way he fought over that screen. And I'm watching the guards, and guards are always complaining that they can't perhaps get over screens if the screen's good enough. But the way he called to make himself skinny there, Angus Glover, stood right up, kind of made himself as 2D as possible and slid right in between Shea Illy and the screener. And he might have clipped a heel and fell down and got the blocking foul, but he's moving well, and again, just great to see, and he is in for a big NBL 22, you would hope.
It's almost like a new recruit for Sydney, isn't it?
Well, it is, and he's going to be a fan favourite wherever he goes. If Joe Luala-Chill puts it up on the shot clock buzzer, doesn't get it. Just because of what he's been through and what he's continued to show, that positive ability to get back from where he's been, and that's going to be a foul on Sean Bruce as Luala-Chill gets to his spot. Yeah, it's just it's a horrible story each time, but the way he comes back from it is truly incredible.
Yeah, the horrible part is what's happened. The amazing part is the positive mindset that he's had all the way through all of these injuries, Angus Glover. All points counting, or every quarter counting, I should say, towards the end of Blitz ladder. Will Hickey steps into that 3. Looked comfortable doing so.
Well, that's always been the instruction for Melbourne United. If you get an offensive rebound and a kick out and you're semi-open, you've got to let that thing fly. Brad Newley with a little veteran swipe and call for the foul. That's exactly how they've always played. Doesn't matter who it is, as long as you are able to knock that down. Anytime off an offensive rebound, step into it with confidence, and he did that just then. Danovic short in the corner. Melbourne United get a chance to take the lead.
And it's Illy stepping back for the triple. Newley cleans it up and they can reset. Justin Schuler's gone with this lineup since the start of the third quarter. Zach Triplett looking set to come back in. Caleb Agata not far away as well. It's Martin rewarded with 2 more. It's off the leg of Glover.
Oh, it's off Brad Newley. Apparently he's running down the other way, but He's been crashing the glass hard, at least getting a piece on it. And here come the substitutions. You think we're not going to see the Golding or Matthew Dellavedova too much, if at all. They're on the end of the bench with Dave Barlow, because in comes Agata, Triplett, and Mason Peatling. And technical foul here on Shea Illy, it looks like. So a few words.
It's not
said
something
there.
we say often.
No, not something at all, and not sure what it was about, but looks like Schuler might have seen enough. He's sending Dion Prewster to the desk.
Looking at the end of the bench there, Matthew Dellavedova and Chris Golding don't seem in any mad rush to be getting back out there.
Look awfully comfortable sitting down there, don't they?
Chris just needs a deck chair.
Well, good move from Bales there, just sized him up, and another possession where there wasn't much ball movement, not a lot happening, but saw what he liked, got to his spot and knocked it down.
Agata check back in. As Peatling firing away from outside. Nadanovic slips over and Triplett is off to the races. Illy alongside him. Melbourne retained possession. Nice drive and finish from Caleb Agata. Put his head down and there was no stopping him.
And there's that substitution I alluded to just a moment earlier. Prewster in for Shea Illy after that technical foul. But Caleb Agata will get a chance here now to really find his offensive position. While Chul's still out there, and he's been quiet for the most part of this game. Got the 6 points, 5 rebounds. Melbourne United playing this lineup for this second half. I do love that Chase Buford is rolling with the guys he has. Doesn't have much choice, obviously. Only got 9 guys in uniform. Just saying that still want Jarrell Martin, Xavier Cooks to do what they do best. And Galloway comes up a bit long there. Good defense from Mason Peatling.
Prewster dumps it into Peatling. Took on 3. It was blocked by Jarrell Martin. And here he is at the other end. Defense becomes offense.
Looking good, Jarrell Martin starting to cook now. 16 points along with a couple of rebounds and assists. Just stepped into that 3-ball, the trail position. He's not doing too much, and of course, as I say that, he's going to go sit down and bring Xavier Cooks back in. I think that's how Chase Buford's been rolling. Actually, last quarter and a half is obviously start their main guys that they have, and then Martin and Cooks play opposite each other, just so one can sit down, the other one can try and get into their groove.
Offensive foul against Callum Dalton.
And that's going to be an issue to watch with Callum Dalton. And it's only his first foul tonight, but he had 3 of those in the first game. You love the aggressiveness. You love that he's trying to actually make contact on the screen. He's got to be set. He's got to be careful because he's had a few of those when he stepped onto the floor.
Still very raw. Only 21 years of age. Back home playing his basketball in Victoria this season.
Good move by Bales. Good patience, and yeah, just a bit off the mark with the pass, as is that one. And again, a couple of scrappy minutes here.
Vodanovic Hands off to Cooks. Jaden Hodgson combines with Xavier Cooks, too strong.
Well, he uses his body so well. Good little pass from Hodgson, pocket pass, and Xavier Cooks takes his time, uses his body, gets him off balance, and easy finish in the end.
Kings are not happy with that call. They thought it was all ball.
Caleb starting to show a little bit of what he can do on the offensive end. And of course, as I say, that misses his first free throw of the night.
Bales up and under. Showing some really good signs, the 19-year-old. He's athletic, he's exciting. Jaden Hodgson beat a guarder on the way through, but misses the layup with the left hand.
He did all the hard work. Really nice move. Had a guarder looking for where he was and then just missed the bunny.
Almost down to the final minute of the third quarter. Xavier Cooks head down to the basket. Gets himself to the stripe.
Xavier Cooks taking the deep ones there. He's working hard out there. We said he's crashing the glass. 11 rebounds to go with 10 points right now, so a double-double with him. 4 assists, a couple of steals and a block. Doing a bit of everything.
Garter goes left and baseline on Bales. Nice feed. Aquera though had to deal with a lot of pressure from Sydney. Vodanovic. Not that time. Cooks, another rebound.
He is working super hard, and that's what you want to see. Guys out. You and Jarrell Martin, Sean Bruce, those key pieces who are still around and giving it absolutely everything is Bales. Good little over shoulder pass, a little play. Bales to Cooks, another 2.
Late in the quarter, pushes it back outside, double figures in the margin. The Kings have come to play and they've come to win. Agata couldn't get his shot away. Sydney take a really nice lead into three-quarter time, 61-49. Another winning quarter for them.
They started strong, United, in that quarter. We know that they're resting right now. The Golding, Dellavedova, Barlow, those guys at the end of the bench. And let the young guys play, but young guys for the Sydney Kings, all 4 of their bench guys in this game have had an impact and doing it well. Xavier Cooks has the 12 and 12, Jarrell Martin as well, but the guys off the bench, Hodgson hasn't scored, made some good plays. Bales and Vodanovic have been big, and again, their intensity just shone through in that quarter.
They spread their scoring around Sydney. Angus Glover has 15 points. Xavier Cooks, 12. Jarrell Martin, 16. Off the bench, particularly in the third quarter. But Wally Bales really giving them some punch. 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 3 rebounds and 4 assists. From Melbourne. Still yet to have a player in double figures in this game. Caleb Agata is their leading scorer with 8.
Well, it'll be, you expect it to be messy this last quarter, and with guys, those young fellas haven't played too much together. But the opportunity is there. The opportunity is going to be there in pre-season for who wants to show Dean Vickerman that they're ready if need be, if their number's called. And these are those chances they've got to take. And you see Dave Barlow not going to play, but he's talking to them all. I say young guys. There's the DP, and the Shea Illy, Mason Peatling, Callum Dalton, and then the Olympian in Brad Newley,
right,
just to go alongside her, which I'm sure Justin Schuller probably asked how's everybody feeling, and he wants to get up and down and get into his rhythm and flow, and it's a good opportunity for that. And as I said, these young guys, Dean Vickerman not coaching, so he actually gets a different perspective of what he's watching. Just to watch everything off the ball, all your communication, all of that. Everything's taking notes from the coach.
What do you think he'd be looking for?
I think he's just looking for all those kind of things, those things that perhaps don't show up on the stat sheet. As Shaylee knocks down a 3, if you're a guy trying to play certain minutes, what's your defense like off the ball? You're communicating. Dean's big on defense and communication. All those little things that when he's coaching might not be able to see because he's so locked into what's happening. Gets to sit back and have a really good survey of what's going on with every single player other than the one who has the ball.
Martin, top of the key.
And the annoying part about it is that can also work out negatively. If you're a quiet person or something, normally you can get away with it because you're doing something else well. We found out as Dalton hits a nice 3-ball. Little stretch game there. And we've got an early timeout in this one. 2 back-to-back threes from United, and Chase Buford wants a timeout.
He's seen enough there. Calls a halt to proceedings. It's Callum Dalton. That looked good. Out of the hand. Mentioned a Melbourne boy originally. Spent the last couple of years with Brisbane. 13 games in total as a development player. Joins Melbourne on a 1-year deal. Some tall timber to try and support Joe Luala-Chul. The Kings call a timeout. Let's try and have a bit of a reset.
That's Chase Buford, just making sure they finish off this game the right way. If the majority have played really well, played the style that he wants, just make sure these last 10 minutes go the right way and they can leave with a lot more positives than negatives. And that's why we see right now their main unit out there with Glover, Martin, Cooks, Swakala Bullock. With Sean Bruce, that starting lineup's out there for the Kings, you'd think, for the next few minutes until he probably empties that bench as well and just gets a good run in. Everybody gets a pretty good run tonight for the Kings.
Newley, Hickey, Dalton, Peatling and Shea Illy. The 5 on the floor at the moment for Melbourne. Sean Bruce off the window.
Good take by Sean Bruce. Got those 4 fouls, and I think no one else had that foul trouble because Daniel Kickett, new assistant coach, is not sure what shoes he's wearing, but Chase Buford might have been calling for a little bit of that.
Dalton, the offensive rebound. Back out to Newley.
There's that 3-ball off an offensive miss. You get an offensive rebound and get your feet set, you're allowed to shoot a spin cycle from Xavier Cooks. That is what he does. Out in transition. Cops the bump. Nice little spin. Easy finish. Having himself a game.
And the Kings keep a comfortable margin between them and their opponents for now. Illy got Glover up in the air. Dalton again finds himself open from deep. That jumps out.
It looks good, doesn't it? He gets his feet set, not rushed. Looks like he can really fill it up from out there. Good little drive and dish. I like the way that he's spaced out there. Really has confidence in that. Sean Bruce tries to attack him down the other end. Strong take by Angus Glover. Just got rattled with the contact in the end, and here comes Melbourne United to eat into this double-digit lead.
Dalton posting up. Found Peatling, but Glover's hands were sharp.
Well, he's saying, I think Glover's got a point here because he's saying the way that he was trying to slack down on it, it's come off his knee, and it should be Sydney Kings' ball. Not called that way. In the end, they're going to have to get another stop. Xavier Cook's going to sit down for perhaps the end of this game, unless barring some. They might come back in for Jarrell Martin at some point, you think?
Will Hickey forced into a tough look. Glover was very good defensively. Now outlet pass for Sean Bruce. Misses the layup. It's off the legs of Newley.
Well, you've got a really good taste over these first two games from the Kings of how quickly they are going to play. They're going to get multiple chances. They're going to get out and run. If you've got your feet set in the corner, let it fly. Guys are going to chase the O-boards. They've got the Xavier Cookses to be able to come and crash the glass hard. It's going to be a really fun unit to play with once everybody gets healthy. And that's going to go the other way. Way to move your feet there, Callum Dalton. Jerome Martin with a little in and out with the left, but the whole point of that is to try and change direction sharply. Instead, just went in a straight line. Callum Dalton took that one through the chest.
Ten-point margin. 7 minutes remaining. And Melbourne give the ball straight back to Sydney.
Oh, well, very vocal, isn't it? Not sure whose leg it came off, and don't have the coach's challenge in these games, in these blitz games.
Brad Newley's got a little bit of blood on his leg. Sort that out.
So we'll have a timeout while they get that fixed on Brad Newley. Probably something with his shoe. I'm not so much sure if it's blood as he might have got a flat tyre, blew a shoe out.
So tomorrow night, back to Tasmania for more NBL Blitz. Perth and Adelaide at 5:30 p.m. The Wildcats playing for the first time in the preseason tournament. And the Cairns Taipans. The Jack Jumpers at 7:30.
I mean, you'd like to see whatever teams can produce full strength, just how much is played. And as you said, the Wildcats, what a unique situation. Not having too much time with your new head coach.
Yeah.
And trying to put in a new system. Obviously, Mike Kelly's been over there as that head assistant role. Would have had plenty of conversations with Scott Morrison about what they want to get out of the preseason leading into it. But just when you think there's certain question marks about what's going to happen with the Wildcats, they go and really get some solid pieces and end it with a nice one. And for those who perhaps aren't aware, Michael Frazier, old college teammate of Casey Prather.
That's right,
from
yeah.
Florida, gave us absolute fits in the NCAA tournament. Frazier, not Casey Prather. I'm happy to say that because Casey won't be watching this. Maybe he will be. But that's a really exciting roster and everybody in the West. And they'll have their own challenges, much like New Zealand at certain points when, because of the border rules, having to go away. And how does that work? How do they adjust with that?
Yeah, they'll get a few at home to start with by the look of it, but then they'll be on the road for a pretty significant patch.
Which is, you know it's coming, so you can prepare for it, but it is different in the moment as Vodanovic comes up long and another offensive rebound. It's been an offensive rebounding feast from both teams so far in this game.
Hickey uses the screen of Luala Chul and then feeds it down to the big man. Newley late in the clock. Off target. Glover draws contact from Peatling.
Well, we talk about everything. He's looking good. He had the dunk to start the game, a couple of three balls, but that first step is what really makes me excited for a big season from Angus Glover. You might be right, that athleticism looking like it's coming even better. And he's enjoying himself out there, and if preseason's anything to go by, he's going to be set for a nice year, especially under the system. that Chase Buford wants. That's going to really help those athletic guards. When Jalen Adams comes, the shooting of RJ Hunter, just the all-round scoring ability of Jalen Adams. Put that with Jerome Martin down low. Need Jordan Hunter, of course.
Yeah, he's an important piece for them, isn't he?
Absolutely. Because he is that young, athletic, and get up and down the floor, just the way Chase Buford wants.
As Peatling stripped of it by Martin. That pass a little too hot for Vodanovic.
That is Angus Glover done. There's 5.5 minutes left. Nice 16 points to go along with 7 rebounds, and it's been really active. And Aquera checks back into the game for Mason Peatling, and as does Caleb Agata.
Still no Dellavedova or Golding for Melbourne in the second half. All teams being pretty careful with their minutes. Luala Chul steps out.
Well, that's his first 3-ball for the preseason. Came up a bit short on his first 2 in the first game, which could have put him over a 40-point game. But again, he adds that because on a consistent basis, it makes him really tough to guard anywhere on the floor. And yeah, it is that fine line for coaches now. Obviously, even Dean Vickerman's doing it, having a little night off.
Yeah.
But good steal from Agata, gets out on the break.
He's got Aquera on the trail. He gets up for the dunk, and again, Chase Buford doesn't want to let things get out of hand and calls a timeout.
Well, I appreciate it as we're in the conversation. Here's another replay of Aquera. Good pass from Agata. A little shepherding to get him upstairs. And it's exactly right. Well, you're playing back-to-back, or in 2 days' time, you need to get rest into the guys. Pre-season, a lot of teams haven't done too much, and when you're playing a game against an opposition, a proper game, it's not the same as even if you scrimmage for what would be 4 10-minute quarters. It's not the same as going against another team. It's a lot harder. So to be able to weigh that up of we need to do this, we need to look at our stuff, get into the right plays, what rotations work well, with trying to make sure everybody's as healthy as possible. It's a juggling act, and it's not easy. That's why you see a lot we see in this second half. No Delhi, no Chris Golding.
And there's a pretty short turnaround between most of the games, although Melbourne, after tonight, won't play again until Saturday. So perhaps... And some teams, I'd imagine, Pete, would have had this all planned before the tournament started.
Most teams would have,
yeah.
Barring the injuries, which you can't do anything about that. Most teams would do that, and especially knowing Dean Vickerman, it'll be that game on Saturday after some break leading into that last one. That last preseason game, you want to have it as close to your normal game as possible. Again, more unique here that you'll probably be playing that team early in the season. So it's hard. You don't want to show too much of your hand like that, but you want to be able to go into that first game. It's going to be against this Sydney Kings team with everything flowing, and you don't want to have to be tinkering with too much. Obviously, it's still a process as long as you're playing your best basketball as soon as possible. It is a process, but again, that'll want to be as close to a normal rotation as possible.
In that instance, so Melbourne play their last preseason game against the Phoenix on November 28 and then play them in the second game of the season.
Exactly right, and you don't want to give too much away, but you also want to make sure that that first game before that and that game is you're ready for. People understand their roles. Everything in terms of minutes is kind of mapped out. A good pass there from Aquera to Luala Chul, which is going to make it even tougher for the Kings, but they do have that chemistry already from the history, which will help. As I say, chemistry. Jerome Martin throws a no-look pass to a guy who's not looking.
So it's back to 6 the difference. Fraction under 4 minutes left. Brewster. Guarded by Swaka Labulik. Pressure by Buwali. Bales on Agata from a mile. Outs! Caleb Agata with the shot clock ticking down in the background.
Well, big time hit, but that's flattening. But Bales played that perfectly. An absolute little pest. It was all up and in. Made him go all the way back to the half-court line. Couldn't do much more than that. Garter threw up a prayer, and look on nothing but net.
And Melbourne now trail by 3. You can see there, the play had broken down. 1 second left on the shot clock for Caleb Agata. Bales runs out of room. Hodgson off target there with his.
I see Dean Bickman in the background there. They come up with a stop and don't even want to give away too much. He'll be locked into having his thoughts run through his head about what to break down about this one.
Triplet, not shy in getting his 3 away.
And that's going to be a foul on Luala Childress throwing Xavier Cooks down. As expected, he'll be back in the game to finish this one out. And for Jarrell Martin, in 3-point game right now, 2 minutes 49 seconds to go as Shaylee comes back in. Sydney Kings 68 to Melbourne United 65. There we go, there's the scoreboard. So there's still points up for grabs, even though Melbourne United comfortably winning this quarter so far.
Cooks has been a handful all night for Melbourne.
Well, that's always at his best. When he catches it on the move, we already know his ability to put it on the floor, but it's already moving, so you have to be able to catch him and not foul, and it's really hard to do, especially when you know you do give him a bump. He's really good with that spin, his ability to be able to do that and get that touch around the rim. So he has looked really, really solid tonight.
14 points and 13 rebounds for Xavier Cooks. It's Galloway! Blows past the defenders and then explodes upstairs.
He's another really exciting talent. Brother plays for New Zealand. Had a big dunk last year. And there's Bales again. Has shown a lot.
He's a terrier.
Well, so are those shorts. Jack, so are those shorts.
You can't get past those shorts, can you?
They may very well be sponsored by Budgie Smugglers. I'm not sure. They could be.
Under some pressure here, Bales. Works together with Glover. He sets Sydney alight in the first half. Goes with the non-preferred right hand.
Good touch. Had a nice little impact tonight. 18 points. Super efficient. 7 boards.
They can breathe a little for now, Sydney. Cook's got a hand on that on the way through from Agata. United ball from the baseline. This looks like David Aquera may have a little cut on his leg now too. So Mason Peatling back in to finish off.
Great box out from Xavier Cooks. Those things that won't show up on the stat sheet, but got Big Joe out of there.
Shot clock winds down to 10. Sydney using full clock. Bales had his 3, deflected by Agata. Now Triplet. Quick release 3, no good. Xavier Cooks with rebound number 14.
And there goes Galloway in the open floor. Athletic, that's the King style of play. It's going to be fun to watch. Get a steal, get a long rebound. Every single player is off to the races.
Jalen Galloway. getting some extra minutes tonight and looking good in the process. So a late timeout.
That's what the preseason's for. See it a lot in training, and a lot of practices will have those little 1-minute drills, and this will be one of those. So little 1-minute drill on both sides. How do you keep that lead, make sure that it's done, and you might even get Chase Buford saying, look, I know we're up 10, but let's pretend we're up 5. We're going to play like this. We're going to do these kind of things. And similarly, Justin Schuller doing the same thing. If we're going to try and do this, we're going to pressure the floor, try and get some quick hitters. This is what the preseason's for trying all those sort of things out.
Sydney's next game will be on Thursday against the New Zealand Breakers at the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre. And then 2 games, as we mentioned, tomorrow night as well. And KO Freebies back at the newly refurbished My State Bank Arena, which we got our first look at yesterday, and it looks a sensational basketball venue. Fans voted with their feet in Tasmania, and I'm sure they'll do it again tomorrow. Luala Chul plays through the contact and scores.
He's been a lot quieter than his opening game, and he's going to draw that attention. Is a foul called here on Melbourne United. He's trying to ramp up that defensive pressure.
Galloway missing the first. Makes the second. So more of what you were talking about, Pete. Late time out, have a little play around with things.
That's the time to do it in the preseason, because you don't get all that time to practice these things once the real stuff hits. There's that man in the back, Jack White. Just cannot wait to see him step back on the floor.
Yeah.
And he was another one with DJ Vasiljevic, who been teammates in the past on Australian teams growing up. They know each other very well and sprung onto the scene their rookie campaigns, and arguably at the point of time when both went down were the most important players to both teams. Jack White was definitely what looked like that guy as a rookie for the heavily talented Melbourne United. And Vasiljevic the same alongside Cassaway. That was a fun duo to watch.
I think he'll be ahead of schedule by the looks of things, Vasiljevic.
Yeah, from all reports, and I spoke to him on media day, and he's just itching to get back. And geez, it'll be an emotional return for both of them.
So the last minute, Luala Chul stole it away from Galloway. They're looking for the 3 through Illy, and they get it.
A little costly turnover there. Look, the Kings could have put this one to bed. It was a nice, solid possession.
6-point game. Melbourne extend their defence. Sydney through Bales, bust it wide open.
Well, that should seal it, if it wasn't already sealed. You know what they're trying to do with get those plays, sort out those last couple of scenarios, situational type games. With Mason Peatling says, maybe not, Pete.
Not just yet, anyway. Agata hustling for it. Got it to Peatling.
We're going to wipe the floor here because the hustle. United have been jumping on top of everything. Oh, there's a foul called. And a foul called on Hodgson. So here's Melbourne United coming right back after Bales chose to go super quickly. It's Melbourne United ball down 3. They get the 2 and the offensive foul from Hodgson with the push. Get a chance to tie it.
Agata, quick release 3, that's short. Bales drags in the rebound and is fouled by Peatling.
Well, he had a good look and they made it this exciting in the end.
They
This
have.
looked like it was over. And Melbourne United, they've ramped their pressure up. When they've done this, they look good. It's the second quarter they did it. And to end the game, they've done it. It just hasn't been as consistent as they would have liked. I'll tell you right now, Jack, if knocks this second one down, strong chance we're going to get a timeout from Justin Schuller and Melbourne United. Big Joe Luala-Chul doing the old veteran, wipe some sweat on the ball just to make Bales think about it. Referee's having none of it.
Deep breath from Bales, and there goes the second.
They don't have any timeouts. You would have assumed it was definitely coming. They're trying to get a quick 3-ball and triple. That's short. And that should just about do us. Mason Peatling just says, hang on, guys. Let's just
with
get
5 seconds left.
Just telling Swackle, well, let me just get your fantasy points up real quick.
The Kings have done well. They played with a level of pressure and intent that has given us a blueprint already for
Big win.
what we think it's going to look like under Chase Buford.
Make no mistake. We know Melbourne United's missing Porte and Delhi and CG didn't play in the second half, but this is the way the Kings are going to play, and they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be tough to beat, and you're going to have to play some really solid basketball for 40 minutes and going to have to keep up with their pace.
Well, the Kings get the job done and record their first victory of the NBL Blitz. 5-point winners over Melbourne United, 80-75. On a big night for Chase Buford and a big night for Sydney. For Melbourne United, they were most certainly trying a few different things and a few different rotations, which everyone will do. But the Kings, big winners. If you're a Kings fan, Pete, I reckon you've seen your team play with a lot of heart.
Well, you are, and you're just going to have to get more excited. But hopefully they get at least one piece back next game and you can start building on that. But, yeah, they're going to be fun. They're going to be young, and they're going to be playing the right way under Buford. So, positive things.
Leading scorers in the game for both teams. Angus Glover finishing with 18 points. What a fantastic story that is. Jarrell Martin, 16 points to go with his 5 rebounds. Xavier Cooks was a big presence across the floor tonight. 14 points and 14 rebounds. And Buwali Bales looked really good in the second half. 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting and had 4 assists as well as 4 rebounds. For Melbourne United, 3 players in double figures. Joe Luala-Chul, 13 points and 7 rebounds. Caleb Agata, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists and 5 steals. So stuffing the stat sheet. And Mason Peatling, 11 points and 8 rebounds. That will see us out from the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre tonight. It was Sydney winning in game number 2 and Illawarra winning in game number 1. Tomorrow night, we're back for more action of the 2021 NBL Blitz on KO Freebies. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to your company at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time.